It's midnight, and the security guards of a skyscraper are clocking out when this crazy biker comes flying towards them, causing a big explosion. When the helmet is off, we can see it's Trinity. That's bad news to these guards, who get knocked out in a few seconds.
I'm in.
But moments later, she's the one going out of the window in a slow-motion plunge, with a gun in each hand. She's still firing at the agent who's coming after her, but he hits her first. That's when Neo wakes up. He's still spooning Trinity and she's asleep. Totally fine. Was it just a dream? How can we even tell if anything is real? Alright, enough with the philosophy. We have an empire of evil machines to take down. Neo and Trinity are aboard the Nebuchadnezzar, a warship from Zion, while the city is deep underground to keep humans safe. Some of their ships need to navigate closer to the surface. That's what they call broadcast level. Morpheus and Link are at the cockpit now, discussing some odd activity caught by their scanners.
I do, sir.
Neo's telling Trinity about the nightmare he just had, making sure to keep it real vague and avoid details about her. Link shows up at the door and says they're late. The captains are having a meeting about those strange scan readings. Their worst fears have been confirmed. The machines are digging towards them, descending at 100 meters an hour. Their target is Zion, but the Sentinels will reach broadcast level in 72 hours. Then the meeting is interrupted by Morpheus making an entrance and acting like a resistance diva as usual. Niobe wants to obey Commander Locke's orders, which is to get out of there as fast as they can. Morpheus is not impressed by the plan. He is a firm believer in the prophecy, so he wants a chance to consult the Oracle before stuff gets too real. That would require at least one ship to remain at broadcast level until the Oracle makes contact.
A strategy is still being formulated.
As the Nebuchadnezzar needs to be charged, he can't stay behind himself. Someone says he's asking them to disobey direct orders. Morpheus reminds them that disobedience is what brought them all together in the first place. Finally, Captain Ballard offers the Caduceus for 36 hours. Meanwhile, a man wearing a dark suit is at the door upstairs. He's asking for Neo, who seems to have sensed his presence and is coming up to deck. The man has left an envelope for him containing a broken earpiece. Neo takes one look at it and says the meeting is over. Agents are coming. He barely finishes that sentence and 3 agents smash the door in.
Only human.
They identify Neo as the anomaly and declare that he is still only human. By now, Neo is too deep on his namaste to get offended by that, and despite the priest costume, he proceeds to kick their butts. His sunglasses never even tilt. Once the agents are down, Neo takes off with a few casual ripples in the fabric of reality. 2 other agents arrive after that, and one of them says that went as expected. The other one agrees with him, which is not very surprising. Morpheus calls Link to ask what on earth just happened. He says the agents came out of nowhere, and now the code is all weird. Trinity asks about her bae, Neo, and Link says he's playing Superman, and he really is, flying above the clouds until he spots the right building to land. Then he tiptoes into a familiar living room, where he has once met the Oracle, but no one's there. Link communicates with Control and gets cleared to cross the gates into Zion. This is where we wonder if the machines are really the bad guy in this story.
Nebuchadnezzar, you are cleared through Gate 3 to Bay 7.
There's a captain waiting for Morpheus when they land. Commander Locke wants to have a nice little chat with him. Morpheus follows the captain, but first he whispers to Link that he should get the ship ready to go. Just in case, right? We're all friends here.
She used to be with Morpheus. Now she's with Locke.
Locke's not happy that Morpheus disobeys his orders. Morpheus says only Neo can save Zion, but Locke's not a believer. He says Morpheus would never set foot on a ship again if it were up to him. Out in the common area, this obnoxious teenager comes running to the crew in excitement. He's all over Neo because he's his #1 fan. The kid says all the ships are docked and something must be happening. Everyone's talking about it. Link tells him to stop asking what they're not allowed to answer. Back in Locke's office, Counselor Hammond arrives. He's going to speak at the gathering tonight, and Locke recommends a sugar-coated version of their situation to avoid panic. Morpheus has the opposite opinion. People need to know the truth.
Panic is not what anyone wants.
There will be no panic because there's nothing to fear. In the elevator, Link drags the annoying boy with him at his stop. He says Neo and Trinity have things to do, and we all know what that is. But nothing kills the mood like a crowd of suffering people begging for you to watch over their children because Morpheus kind of told everyone that you're Jesus.
It's all right. They need you.
That same evening, Counselor Hammond stands before the crowd. He gives the floor to Morpheus and he flat out tells them that the rumors are all true. Yes, the machines are coming. Yes, they'll be here soon.
It is true, what many of you have heard.
And yes, they want to kill us. But fear not. This is no different from the last 100 years. These machines have been trying to delete the free humans for a whole century. They've always failed, and they will fail again this time. So let's move these flesh and bones tonight and show them. Neo's not in a party mood though, and the moment he sees Trinity, they sneak out together. While they finally get to enjoy some quality time, Zion has turned into a massive nightclub. Inside the Matrix, we see Bane, who's a member of the Precarious crew. He's attacked by Agent Smith, who does something really weird to him. He puts his hand through Bane's chest, spreading some black goo all over him. He's transformed into a perfect copy of Agent Smith. Then he answers the phone and leaves the Matrix. In the middle of the night, Ballard knocks on Neo's door with a message from the Oracle. It's an address where they should meet.
Morpheus said this is how it was gonna happen.
Locke is furious because Hammond allowed the Nebuchadnezzar to leave when they need every ship they have. Hammond says their victory shouldn't depend on ships alone. While the crew's getting ready to leave, we see Bane hiding from view and behaving strangely. He approaches Neo with a vicious look, but before he can get too close, that clingy teenager shows up with a gift for Neo. Clearly, Bane is going through something really odd, involving some kind of connection with Agent Smith, but everyone is too busy to notice. Aboard their ship and back to broadcast level, Neo can now enter the Matrix. At the specified address, he's forced to show his skills to prove that he is the one. Then he's taken through what looks like a door in the Matrix, but it's actually a back door in the program, so he disappears from Link's radar.
The code is hidden in tumblers.
He is now in a minimalistic corridor with dozens of identical doors. His guide opens one of them to a courtyard where the Oracle is calmly feeding some birds. Just like any decent Oracle, she is totally vague and difficult to understand. But when asked directly, she admits that she is a computer program. Not exactly what you want to hear in the middle of a war against computer programs, but Neo decides to trust her. She tells him that a complex simulation like the Matrix needs millions of different programs to run properly.
At some point, a program was written to govern them.
When a program becomes redundant or outdated, it must go back to the source to be deleted. For obvious reasons, some of them prefer not to. They hide inside the Matrix with occasional strange consequences. But what matters now is that Neo must go to that source, to the machine mainframe. And to get there, he'll need the help of the Keymaker, who's being held by one of those rogue programs called the Merovingian. She gives him what he needs to find him and reminds Neo that if he fails, Zion will fall. Great, no pressure now.
Good luck, kiddo.
The Oracle leaves, but Neo has one more encounter. Agent Smith wants to have a word with him, except that he's not an agent anymore, and he seems to share some kind of connection with Neo. Maybe that's why he has developed a taste for disobedience, just like a naughty human. Not to mention the other development, a convenient ability to make copies of himself. Neo is quickly surrounded by hundreds of Agent Smiths, and they all attack him. Now, here's a man in a black dress and sunglasses who can also fly, performing an aggressive ballet against a crowd of identical men. That's bound to attract some attention. So a poor woman passing by soon gets turned into an official Matrix agent, but then he also gets turned into yet another Smith. The copies manage to hold Neo for a moment, and the original Smith sticks a hand into his chest. But Neo is the one, and that stuff won't work with him. He keeps fighting off all the copies until he's had enough. He does the Neo jump, and the Smiths disperse in mild embarrassment. Back in Zion, Commander Locke is explaining his defense plan to the Council, but they seem to have more faith in Neo than his war tactics. They request 2 ships to go look for the Nebuchadnezzar. Captain Soren stands up to offer his ship. Bane tries to convince Ballard to offer the Precarious, but he won't even hear it.
Are there 2 among you that would answer such a call?
Then, to Locke's complete surprise, Captain Niobe also volunteers to join the mission. Meanwhile, Neo takes Morpheus and Trinity to the location he received. They're going to see the Merovingian to negotiate the release of his hostage, the Keymaker. According to the Oracle, the Merovingian is a very old program, and very dangerous too. He's been hiding in the Matrix disguised as a rich Frenchman, and that's why the Neo trio is now in the middle of a fancy restaurant. The Merovingian is waiting for them with his wife and his 2 bodyguards. He's an arrogant, pseudo-intellectual who goes on and on about causality. All existence is nothing but cause and effect in an infinite chain. When Neo asks about the Keymaker, he refuses to cooperate and dismisses them. On their way out, Neo is struggling with what just happened.
There is no escape from it. We are forever slaves to it.
They are leaving empty-handed because they didn't really have a plan. They just showed up at the address in the firm belief that the Oracle's directions would be enough for something to happen. Morpheus then declares that he's confident that something will still happen. Just like a miracle, the elevator door opens to the Merovingian's wife, who has a proposal for them. They can have the Keymaker on one condition: a kiss from Neo. Trinity immediately points a gun to her face and tells her to kiss that, but Morpheus shushes her. The lady demands a real kiss, and she gets gets one. Keeping her end of the deal, she takes them through the kitchen to one of those special doors. This one opens to a huge mansion. They follow her into the secret dungeons where they find the Keymaker. He says he's been waiting for them and looks very eager to escape. As soon as they leave the dungeons, the Merovingian arrives with his men. He's totally shocked at his wife's behavior.
How about the lipstick you're still wearing?
She explains that it was all cause and effect. You are a lying cheater. Your wife will get back at you somehow. But the couple counseling has to wait. The Merovingian orders the twins to take the prisoner back. They melt into spectral forms and vanish through the floor, while the Keymaker screams that he cannot go back. Neo says he'll handle the Merovingian, who's deeply insulted to hear that. But when his men start shooting, Neo can stop all the bullets in the air with an elegant hand gesture. He's forced to change his tune a little bit, admitting Neo has some skill. Then he orders the men to kill him, while Morpheus and Trinity can barely keep up with the Keymaker. The old man really doesn't want to go back.
You see, he's just a man.
Neo fights off the Merominions with his breakdance yoga until they're all down. Only the Merovingian himself is still standing. He says he has survived Neo's predecessors and will survive him too. Then he escapes through the special door back into the kitchen. But when Neo goes after him, the same door opens to the front stairway of the mansion instead. Now the others have reached the parking lot, but the ghost twins are coming and they can go through concrete walls. They can also grow limbs back and bullets don't do much to them. Morpheus tells Trinity to stay with the Keymaster, who's already starting the car they're about to steal. That man wastes no time. She takes the wheel and picks up Morpheus mid-fight. Neo's almost reaching them now, but one of the twins shuts the door, and then it opens to a balcony. Starting to lose his patience with this Hogwarts nonsense, Neo calls Link to get a location on Trinity.
Middle of the city, 500 miles due south.
She's in the middle of the city now, driving Morpheus and the Keymaker. They also call Link, looking for an exit. The only one available is off the freeway. Their call is interrupted abruptly by the ghost twins in a car behind them with a machine gun. Then Link gets one more call. It's Niobe, saying she's been sent to help Morpheus. She asks where he is, and Link tells her to follow the sirens. 8 police cars are after them now, and the police officers inside those have just transformed into agents. They identify the Keymaker as the primary target. Morpheus tells Trinity to get the Keymaker out of the Matrix. She pulls him onto a truck with a bunch of motorcycles. Morpheus stays behind and manages to blow up the ghost twins, while Trinity rides away with the Keymaker. But it's not over yet. More agents replace the regular police to chase them. Morpheus pulls the old man onto the top of a truck and is soon joined by an agent. Niobe comes to the rescue, but there are just too many of them. Pretty much every driver around the Keymaker is now an agent. One of them is driving a colossal truck right at a very high speed in their direction. That's when Neo decides it's a good time to show up and show off. He comes flying over the massive crash and picks both Morpheus and the Keymaker just in time. Now that they have the Keymaker, he starts to explain everything they need to know about the machine mainframe. It's located behind one of the many doors on a secret floor of a skyscraper. While the Keymaker goes over to the structure, Neo can see what he's talking about in his mind. It's the same building from his dreams, where Trinity dies. The Keymaker goes on, saying they'll have to kill the power of 27 city blocks in order to disable the security system.
One system built on another.
And then another team must disable the emergency system. And if all of that works, then they'll have only a 5-minute window to get in. Trinity asks Neo what's wrong. He doesn't tell her about the dream, but asks her to sit this one out. He says she shouldn't enter the Matrix tonight, and she agrees. At midnight, the teams put the plan into action. Unfortunately, Soren's Sentinels get to Soren's crew before completing their part, so Trinity needs to go in. She invades the building just like in Neo's dream. 60 floors up, the Keymaker takes Neo and Morpheus through the secret hallway, but they are not alone. Agent Smith is there with his other selves. While Neo and Morpheus handle the Smiths, the Keymaker starts trying a few doors. Trinity turns off the power again right before he finds the right door. The 3 of them manage to get through, but Agent Smith shoots the Keymaker. He gives Neo the key.
You know which door.
While Trinity is fighting an agent, Neo crosses the door surrounded by bright light. He's now in a room covered by screens, and his own face is in all of them. The man sitting in the middle of the room introduces himself as the architect. He's the one who created the Matrix. As they start talking, the Neos from the many screens react in different ways, reflecting the conflicting emotions inside Neo.
The Matrix is older than you know.
The architect says that the first versions of the Matrix failed because they were too perfect. They could only achieve some success with the help of a program designed to investigate human minds, the Oracle. She introduced choice into the program, and while that solved most of the issues, it also created a systemic anomaly. That's what Neo is. He is the anomaly and not the first one. There were 5 others before, and each of them was also the one, just like Neo. He's not all that special after all. In fact, he's doing exactly what he's expected to do, returning to the source to reinsert some of the code he carries into the Prime program. But he still has a choice. The door on his right leads to the source. If he's a good boy and goes there, he gets to pick 23 people to rebuild Zion after it falls. If he picks the one to his left, that will result in an apocalyptic system crash, eliminating every single person connected to the Matrix.
The problem is choice.
But then he can try to save Trinity, who's about to fall through the window. Neo picks the left door, and the architect reacts as if he already knew that. Trinity falls through the window and gets hit, just like Neo predicted. But she never hits the ground. Neo bursts out of the architect room and flies faster than ever before, catching Trinity. He takes her to a rooftop and removes the bullet inside her. This is the Matrix after all, and now Neo is more part of its code than ever. So when Trinity passes away, anyway, that's no problem. He just restarts her heart, manually.
I can't take this.
But now they still have that little problem with the human race annihilation. Neo tells Morpheus the prophecy was a lie all along, just another system of control. Morpheus doesn't even have time to process all this. Sentinels are approaching the ship and there's a bomb about to blow up. The crew gets to bail just in time, and they all look in shock as the Nebuchadnezzar goes up in flames. Then the Sentinels arrive and they try to run from them, but Neo says something feels different this time. He can feel them. While the others keep running, Neo waits for them and just raises a hand as they arrive. He successfully stops them, but as they fall to the ground, so does he. Trinity runs to his rescue, and luckily a friendly ship comes by.
No, I'm gonna stay with him.
While Trinity's taking care of Neo, the crew is telling Morpheus and Link about what happened back in Zion. One of Commander Locke's strategic moves seems to have been sabotaged, wiping out the Resistance ships and leaving only one survivor. That survivor is right there on the ship with them. It's Bane. And that's how this part ends. This was a recap of the 2003 movie The Matrix Reloaded, produced by Village Roadshow Pictures and Silver Pictures, and starring Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne. So what do you think happens next? Was the architect telling the truth? And what about the Oracle? What's her deal? Let us know in the comments below with #CinemaRecap. Until next time.